What's happening, everybody? I'm just checking to see if the stream is good. It looks like things are a little slow on my end right now, but maybe it's okay. All right, I think it's all right. I think it's okay. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Week 7. It's in the header. It's in the title. Week 7 start, sit, help. Whatever questions you may have. If you joined me last night, maybe you need some reassurance on some questions that you had. Maybe you have some new questions. And anybody, of course, who missed last night's stream, now's your opportunity to get questions in about your lineup ahead of the full Week 7 slate. I don't normally stream during the early NFL games. Usually keep that slot open just because, people are watching the game. You prefer to watch the game. But want to get some hours with you guys after missing for a little while here in the middle of the season, and also this game is a blowout right now, or at least an early makings of one, with the Rams up 21-0 at halftime. So I can step away to for anybody who needs help with anything. I'm trying to get this link shared in my Discord. Boy, this is moving slow. So I'll get the latest updates. As far as injuries. We should be getting updates for the early slate of injuries in the next 20 minutes or so. Around 11:30 Eastern is when we start to see injuries for the early slate. Man, Discord. Just give me a second to get my announcement out to Discord, but it is really taking its sweet time. All right. Dude, I just want to... All right, well, while this is buffering... man, maybe I'll quit Discord. I'll send the link. All right, I'll send the Discord link on my phone because right now things are at a crawl for my laptop. Discord is not working. Let me see. Harry Balzonia? Who is that? Is that who even is that? That can't be a real name. Copy link. Sorry, I just need to get this to my Discord, but my phone is taking freaking forever to do this, so I need to do it on my mobile. Or my laptop is taking forever to do this. Okay, that's done. Let's get the latest injury updates, and then I will get into my spiel. From this morning, Stefon Diggs is expected to play Week 7. He's on the injury report with a chest injury, but he should be good to go for New England against Tennessee. Zach Ertz is on the injury report as well with multiple injuries, shoulder and calf injuries, but is expected to play Week 7. He got a full practice in on Thursday, so we feel fine about him today. The Panthers seem to want to split the backfield with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. That makes sense. I alluded last night that while I really like Rico today, I don't think he's just after 2 weeks, and they were 2 brilliant weeks. I don't know that they're necessarily going to just crown him as their RB1 rest of season. Chuba's working his way back from injury, and they paid him, so they're going to keep him involved. It's just a matter of, how long before Chuba theoretically takes that opportunity back as the team's RB1. So they will probably trade opportunities this week. They will trade series. That is the report, the latest from Jeremy Fowler. The Panthers are going to try to have some flexibility and figure things out as they go, but they expect to play both runners. I think both guys are fine to suit up. I guess I feel a little bit more confident about Rico than Chuba this week, with Chuba it being his first game back from missing a couple of weeks. So I think Chuba's risky, but I'm not panicking if I'm the Chuba owner. Maybe I don't feel super confident about playing him today, but, the vibe that I get is, or the vibe seems to be, Chuba's role is going to remain in some way, shape, or form, and he's going to remain fantasy relevant over the course of the season. Just maybe not today. That being said, he may play more than we were already anticipating. Let's see. Vikings hope J.J. McCarthy can return after the team's. Oh no, they had their week 6 bye. He may have to miss next week as well. We will see. This is shaping up to be a long-term injury for J.J. McCarthy. Big news for the Bucs wide receivers: Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka. This is both from Adam Schefter. Evans is likely to play on Monday night against Detroit. That is the update. So he's probably more on the probable side of questionable. Which means you can leave him in your lineup if you have Mike Evans and you're relying on Mike Evans. The game time decision designation up until this morning was dicey with a hamstring injury for an older wide receiver on Monday night. Therefore, if you go with him, your options are a little bit more limited. But Evans is a vet. He knows his body. He knows what he can manage. If he's on the likely side of playing, if he's on the probable side of playing, he's in my lineup. As far as Egbuka, now the report is that he has a real chance to play on Monday night. Quote-unquote real chance from Adam Schefter. We were expecting as of last week that Egbuka would miss some time. That was the initial concern. The initial concern was that Emeka Egbuka was going to miss time. That usually means like a couple of weeks at minimum with an injury. And he didn't practice on Thursday. That was the first day, again, because they play on Monday night. That was the first day of practice for Tampa this week. He didn't practice Thursday. He was working with trainers on Friday, but I think he was officially listed a non-participant in practice. And now here we are, and he has a real chance to play Monday. Apparently, he's a fast healer. I still have some hesitation with firing up Egbuka given the circumstances. Again, I mentioned this last night if you caught my stream last night. If you have Egbuka and you have a comparable player of similar projections, of similar expectations, not a dart throw, not a random pickup from this week, but a guy that is, on the same plane as Egbuka, as far as projections and expectations, I would just play that other player. First thought that comes to mind is like a Jameson Williams. I would play him over Egbuka just because I know JMO is not on the injury report. But if it's like a Luke McCaffrey or the Trey Tucker, the pickups this week at wide receiver, Sterling Shepard, whatever have you, then I would just, at this point, now I feel a little bit better about firing up Egbuka if it's him or a dart throw. So, kind of depends on your specific situation. But Evans now officially feels like a guy that you can go with, and you don't need to make alternate plans. All right. We'll get into your questions now. And again, we will, in about 15 minutes, we'll start getting some official inactives from the 1 o'clock slate, so we'll review those at that time. In the meantime, with questions, as always, whether you've been here before or you are new, welcome in, welcome back. Members get first priority responses to their questions and comments. That is a perk of being a member of the channel. They will also get their username shouted out, so they will know that I am referring directly to them and or their question. If you send a super, that would also be a way to get to jump the line. You do not have to, but if you want to get your question prioritized and answered sooner, that would be a way to make that happen. If you are not a member and you do not send a super, I will still answer your questions, but I do ask for some patience as I work through the paying customers first. Whether or not you are a subscriber or a member, if you could just like the stream, if you're enjoying the conversation, the dialogue, the back and forth, all that good stuff, that helps me out for algorithm purposes. Thank you in advance. I see Sport Dog. I see Greg. What's going on, guys? Let's sort out what we have first up. Ayuk on injured reserve. This is an 8-team league, right, Sport Dog? You can drop Ayuk. I mean, your rosters are going to be loaded in shallower leagues. They're going to be stronger top to bottom for all teams. You need all of those spots. And Ayuk does, and you need ceiling plays. You need guys like with upside. Ayuk doesn't feel like a guy that has a ton of upside. The one thing that's working in his favor right now is the injuries to the other 49ers wide receivers. Ricky Pearsall is missing time. Jawan Jennings is dealing with 2 high ankle sprains and 5 fractured ribs. I mean, we're down to Kendrick Bourne, who has stepped up and been great, but he was not a guy that the 49ers were planning to lean on, this early in the season. Kittle is coming back for them, so that's good, but still a lot of wide receiver injuries, so maybe Ayuk has a little bit more of a role if and when he can come back. The question is when. We don't know. I think the last thing I saw was week 10. That's now officially a few weeks away. I've not seen any recent updates. Again, he suffered a massive injury last year. Even when he comes back, return to play does not mean return to peak performance, at least not right away. In shallower leagues, Ayuk is droppable. In larger leagues, you may want to hang on to him as a roll of the dice in the stretch run leading up to the fantasy playoffs. I just don't know that he's going to have that significant of a role or of an impact if and when he's able to come back this year. Plus the injuries to the quarterbacks as well. San Francisco is super banged up. I do not think Ayuk is a hold outside of pretty much keeper and dynasty leagues. And then what was I going to say about Ayuk? I already forget. I just don't feel strongly about him for the rest of this year. Oh, keep him in keeper leagues, dynasty leagues, and like larger leagues, 14-team leagues where rosters are shallower. Talent is at a little bit more of a premium. That makes a little bit more sense. What's going on, Greg? Happy Sunday. So you were able to get Luke McCaffrey. So Whittington, Greg, I guess you might just be having your morning coffee. That game's going on right now, my friend. The Rams are playing right now. So Whittington is not a guy. Hopefully you're not playing Whittington because he's not really doing all that much. I'm not watching the game at this point anymore. But yeah, he only has 1 catch and it's for no yards. He has a yardless catch on his belt at this point. In a game where the Rams are leading 21-0. I don't know if they're driving at the moment, but yeah, Whittington's stat line at this point is not looking strong because they're not going to have to. If this holds up and the Rams are able to play some ball control in the second half, there's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities left for the wide receivers at this point. So if you're happy if you have Devontae Adams and I forget who scored the first touchdown. It was not a typical relevant fantasy player. But at this point, it's going to be slim pickings in all likelihood. So yeah, Luke McCaffrey is your guy. He's playing. Whittington's already playing. And he's probably not in your roster or your starting lineup at this point. So it's between him and Iomanor. So I guess from that perspective, Iomanor has a chance to be the team's wide receiver 1 today because Calvin Ridley isn't playing. It's just like I just don't like the situation. It's a rookie quarterback. The team just fired their coach, so I don't know like what this offense is going to look like, or if it's going to be any improved with the head coach having gotten fired. And Iomanor as a number 1 option as a 4th-round rookie. I mean, that's enticing on paper, but that's a tall task because now the defense, New England, can kind of key on him. It's like, okay, this guy is probably next man up as their best option. Let's take him away. Let's just take him away. And a veteran corner like Christian Gonzalez or however they decide to scheme up and defend. I mean, that's a tougher spot for Iomanor. It's better for him when Ridley plays as opposed to not. Because now all the pressure is on him. The spotlight, the focus is on him. So I would go McCaffrey, with Jaden, better quarterback, better situation, better matchup, right? And, while McCaffrey isn't exactly a world beater, he's a third-year vet at this point, right? He's got NFL experience. Like, when we're talking about dart throws and rookies and young players, like, that stuff matters. McCaffrey just has more NFL games under his belt than Ayamanor does, and he's in the better situation with Jaden Daniels. So I would take a shot on McCaffrey. I like Ayamanor. Excellent dynasty piece. A tough guy to trust today, though. Tough guy to trust today. Yes, Balzonia is an option at tight end with all the injuries. Let's see. Would I start Hunter Henry, Cade Otton, AJ Barner, or is that Michael Mayer? I mean, probably Henry. I know he's been off. Like he actually, or sorry, no, sorry, not Henry. I want to play Cade Otton, but I will say now it's kind of like on him. I was more bullish on Hunter Henry, or excuse me, I was more bullish on Cade Otton given the injuries to the Bucks wide receivers. But now it looks like Evans is gonna play, and Egbuka has a real chance of playing. I liked Cade Otton initially as a streamer because of the potential injuries that the Bucks were dealing with at wide receiver, and then Chris Godwin is already out. If it was down to bare bones, if Evans didn't play, if Egbuka didn't play, I liked Cade Otton as a streamer. Now that the Bucks seem to be optimistic about their wide receivers and their, Evans and Egbuka at least, Godwin's already out. But if those two play, I don't like Otton as much now. So I think I'm pivoting off of him. I think I would say go Hunter Henry. He hasn't been great, but again, it's still early. He has 2 tight end 1 weeks on the season. That's pretty good. Like through 6 games, if you're not one of the world beaters at tight end and you have 2 tight end 1 weeks, that's pretty good. You're probably a top 12 to 15 tight end on the season at this point if you have 2 tight end 1 weeks. So it hasn't been great recently. They're all dart throws. I'll take Henry. He's the regular starter for a good quarterback in Drake May. Drake May looks good. I'll take him. It would have been Otton, but since Evans and Egbuka are looking good, I don't like him as much. Mayer, Raiders, not a good situation, and AJ Barner, yeah, I'll play Henry. I'll play Henry. He's got a little bit more of a track record than Barner does. Start one between McManus, Gay, and Fairbairn. Is McManus kicking today? Or was it that Lucas? Because I know McManus was on the injury report. He's questionable. So not McManus. I just, if a kicker is on the injury report to me and it's a quad injury, it's not like it's a shoulder injury or something, right? It is literally like one of the injuries that would matter specifically for kickers, a quad injury. It's like I'll just take a dude who's not on the injury report. I don't care how good the guy is, and I know McManus is in a good situation, but like even if he plays, I'm like I don't want to mess with that. Gay or Fairbairn are both fine. Matt Gay, both of those guys can boot it. I assume Washington's. See, this is what I like to do with kickers. Like, what's the team's implied point total, right? Or are they favorites? I think Washington is a slight favorite over Dallas. Maybe like give me a second. Like, what's the spread? Who do I think is gonna have a lead and therefore tacking on points in the second half? The Commanders are okay. They're about 2.5 3-point favorites on the road against Dallas. It's a good offense. I mean, you expect points to be scored in that game. Houston is playing Seattle on the road, so I don't mind the kicker on the road. On the other hand, like teams like settling for points on the road as opposed to being aggressive early on in the game. That's a scenario where it's like, okay, I'm fine with a kicker on the road. They may settle for points as opposed to like being more aggressive if they were, say, at home. And Fairbairn can boot some bombs. I like Fairbairn today, but Gay is a good option. Not McManus. I'm out on McManus of this group. Let's see. It's a good matchup by the numbers because of how many points for Matt Gay because of how many points the Cowboys put up. And then for Fairbairn, his matchup is less good. His matchup is and situation is less good, but he's good, and he boots a lot of field goals because Houston's offense struggles. I'll say Gay is a safe play, and I know I don't always do this with kickers, but if you like your situation, if you like your matchup, you feel good about the rest of your team and how you expect them to do against your opponent today, maybe play Gay. But if you think you need to be more aggressive, like Fairbairn's probably more like Gay's going to have more scoring opportunities, but Fairbairn's going to have more opportunities to blast some long field goals. And then, of course, the risk is, will he make them? So therefore, I'll say Fairbairn's a little bit more of an aggressive ceiling play. His floor might be lower. Ceiling might be higher because of booting some bombs if the offense stalls out in that 35 to 40-ish yard range. Fairbairn aggressive, Gay like safer play. Maybe more extra point opportunities as opposed to field goal opportunities because of how bad the Cowboys defense is. And if you expect Washington to move the ball successfully on offense, Gay may kick more extra points. But again, that puts him in safe territory. You could still expect anywhere from 7 to 10 points out of him. Fairbairn might be more like the 12 to 14 range ceiling, but the 3 or 4 range floor because of Houston's offense. You're going against Adams. Okay. So you're and then therefore you're maybe in an underdog situation. And you could play either Jamison Williams or Stephon Diggs. I mean, I think Diggs is expected to play. He's coming on. He has been coming on recently. Let me see. He's been better recently than as opposed to the beginning of the season. It's a good matchup against the Titans. Three for 28 this past week wasn't very good, but prior to that, he had a couple of strong performances. I guess for me, as the part of this question is because JMO has 2 wide receiver 1 weeks and then 4 performances where it's he wouldn't, he didn't crack the top 50. He didn't crack the top 50, so he is all or nothing. At home against Tampa, though, I don't hate that spot for him for JMO in what could be a high-scoring game. Yeah, I think I'm okay with the shot on JMO. I guess part of it is what's the rest of your situation? Do you feel good? Are you an underdog across the board and you need to play aggressive, or do you maybe do I still have good players to go and maybe he's got other options that aren't as strong? You can still play it safe if you feel good about the rest of your lineup and play Diggs, but if you do think if it's no, I'm an underdog across the board right now, I need to take some shots and obviously Adams is having a great game, then yeah, I'm fine with JMO. It's what's the rest of your situation, but if it's yeah, because of the rest of my team, I'm an underdog. Sure, fine, you can take a shot on JMO. But if you do you're I have good players still to come. I have 3 or 4 good guys that I like and I believe in. Then you can stick with Diggs. Kind of depends on the whole picture. Do you trade Woody Marks and Ferguson for Bucky? And you have Kittle coming back. Yeah, I'm okay with that because CD is also back for the Dallas Cowboys, which means Ferguson is still going to be, Ferguson is still going to be involved, but he may not be top 2 option at tight end with CD making his return. So you're selling high. You already have Kittle waiting in the wings to come back. The report is that he's already going to have no snap count, no concerns about any pitch count or allotment of snaps in his return. He's going to play his full complement of snaps. At least that's what's expected based on the report. So you're good there. Sorry, I was just looking at an update. No big breaking news as it pertains to injuries today, which I will take a look at shortly because they're starting to roll in. Yeah, to get Bucky, you can sell Woody, who's a dart throw, Ferguson, who's probably going to lose opportunities with CeeDee's return, just in time for you to be able to plug Kittle into your lineup. I would make this trade today if you can. I would make this trade today if you can. And I know Bucky's not playing today, but I would get it done because you're not going to use Ferguson moving forward anyway, with Kittle already being good to go. Yes, I would do this trade absolutely. I would do this absolutely. I prefer the one that you. I prefer Woody and Ferguson for Bucky over Pollard and Ferguson for Brees. 100%. 100%. I would rather do the first trade if that's on the table. I'd rather do that. Drake May or Caleb Williams. I mean, both are really good options. I don't think you can really go wrong. Caleb's in a great matchup at home against a bad Saints defense. I will say Drake May, he's on the road for if I don't know if this matters for you, but he's on the road in a situation where the Patriots are playing their third straight road game. That can in a vacuum be in a tough spot for any team. I know Tennessee isn't good. Um, it's really splitting hairs. They're both really good options. Um, I think May is like the QB4 in points per game, and Caleb is like the QB5. I'll be honest. I kind of I don't mean this like to say like I don't mean this to sound rude or anything, but like I almost don't care who you play because I have high expectations for both. I think they'll both be fine. Both can run, both look good. Maybe Caleb just because he's at home, like take the home cooking. May playing his third straight road game, that could be a little bit of a tougher spot. That's really it though. We're splitting hairs. I mean that in a nice way. Like I'm like nitpicking as far as who do I want to play because both are good options. Like maybe Caleb because he's at home versus May playing his third straight road game. That's really all I can. If that doesn't concern you and you like Drake May, then play Drake May. Like truly, I don't think you can go wrong here. Both are good options. 45% underdog. So I want you to ignore that stuff. First of all, Sleeper in particular, their projections are wild. Like their current projections, they never feel like they're actually accurate. Um, I think they skew too heavily in favor of whoever is winning in the moment in that particular point in time, as if like your team still doesn't have a chance to score points of their own with like good players yet to play. Um, don't look at that. Look at your players. Look at your players. Do you have like a stud running back still to come, a stud wide receiver still yet to go, a stud quarterback, a defense in a good matchup that you like? If you've got like three or four good options, I'm ignoring 45%. 45% projected to lose right now before the early window means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. Look at your team. Look at your players. Like I have Jonathan Taylor or Bijan or some really good option at running back. I have, I have Amon Ross still to go, or Jackson Smith and Jigba still to go at wide receiver. Like, if you've got good options, ignore that 45% projection. If you feel strongly about your players, your team, your guys, that means nothing. To me, that leans just play Stephon Diggs and take the floor. Take the floor of Stephon Diggs. Honestly, I feel even stronger about Stephon Diggs now. 45% on underdog and sleeper and all those. That means their projections are skewed like I don't know, too significantly toward the current leader too early on in the slate. All right, let's see. Let me check. I'm checking in. Let me check injuries really quickly. Make sure we have the most recent updates. Stephon Diggs active. Brock Bowers inactive. No surprise there. Jacoby Myers inactive for Week 7. Jacoby was questionable for this game with knee and toe injuries. He will be inactive for Week 7. That is a tough spot for Geno Smith. If you grabbed the Chiefs' defense, well done. You can play them with confidence. And Hunter Renfrow inactive for Week 7. Not fantasy relevant. We'll see if we get any more get any more updates as they come through. Sleeper needs to mark Brock Bowers as out. They need to hurry up and do that. Let's see. Flex Ramondre, Tet McMillan, Wandale, Tajay Spears, Monangai, or Burden. Isn't DeAndre Swift is active, right? Or has that not been announced officially yet? I'm checking. DeAndre Swift is off the injury report and will play, which was expected. So not Monangai. Can't do Burden just yet. I like Spears, but not over any of these other guys. I think Ramondre is your safe play, and Tet is your a little bit more like upside play. And honestly, I might just go Tet straight up. I know it's not a great matchup against Sauce Gardner. Bryce Young is on the road. I don't love that. He has been significantly worse on the road than he has been at home through his short career thus far. But Tet's getting that wide receiver 1 target share, and I just like, when is the other shoe going to drop on Ramondre? If he fumbles again, like, can they really keep going back to him? I mean, with all they've to the credit of the Patriots, I guess, they've been backing their guy. They've been backing and boosting Ramondre Stevenson. But at some point, he's going to fumble again, and he's going to put the offense or the team in general in a precarious situation, the defense, I should say. I mean, there's only so many times you can back a guy with as much ball security issues that Ramondre has. Maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe it doesn't happen next week. I don't know. But at some point, it's like, are you really going to keep doing this to yourself? I'll say Tet McMillan. I'll say Tet. It's not a great matchup, but Carolina should have to throw on the road. I think I say Tet. Wandale in PPR leagues is fine, but I don't love the matchup against Denver. And there's the update for Brock Bowers. Ruled out. I got to make a couple of moves for myself. Come on. Update. Sleeper's kind of annoying with how many times you have to back out of it for an update to go through. All right. I'm just going to restart my phone outright. You can make a trade for Bourne. I'm not sure I follow this one. To put with Caleb? I don't know what do you mean? That's not a stack. To put with Caleb for your flex. What? Wait, which Bourne are we talking? Kendrick Bourne? I'm not sure I follow. What's going on, Fortune? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for stopping in. And let me know if you need anything. I will keep an eye out. Bill, Rico, Judkins, Warren, Kittle. 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Damn, you have Warren and Kittle? You may want to trade one of those 2 and just sell, like, for not for nothing. Don't sell low, but, like, you have both. You only need one. Like, if you could use some running back or wide receiver help, maybe you could use a wide receiver. Yeah, I would say you should try to trade, first of all, trade Warren or Kittle for a wide receiver, because you're asking Bill, Rico, or Judkins for running back. That's like a good problem to have. And then at wide receiver, you're asking McCaffrey, Sterling, or Bourne. That's a not good problem to have. I would be looking to move Warren or Kittle. Maybe Kittle, just because Warren has been on fire. And try to get some wide receiver help. That would be the first thing I do. But if you keep your team as is before the start of the Week 7 slate, I would say play Judkins. Man, actually, I like those 3 running backs. I want to play those 3 running backs, and then I guess I would play Warren at tight end, and I would keep Kittle on ice for a week. In most scenarios, I want to tell people to get Kittle back into their starting lineup. But I think I want to play the 3 running backs here. and then I'll play Warren just because he's been hot. Josh Downs, I don't think is expected. I think he's already been ruled out with a concussion. So a condensed target share where Warren is the focal point gets even more condensed. Um, yeah, I would say play your 3 running backs, and then I would start Warren at tight end, and I would look to trade George Kittle for some wide receiver help so that these aren't the options that you have to go to. That being said, I would probably play Kendrick Bourne of these 3 wide receiver options. Sterling Shepard is not as interesting, with the report that Evans and Igbuka could both play tomorrow night, Evans being the more probable of the 2. And then McCaffrey's a dart throw. Bourne is on a bit of a stretch run here where he's been playing well, and Ricky Pearsall is out yet again. So I would play Bourne, and I would definitely play Rico over Woody Marks. Rico, after what he's done the past couple of weeks, we have to play Rico Dowdle. You have to, even with Chuba back. I don't care. We gotta play Dowdle. He's been on fire the past couple of weeks. Oh, you've AJ. Okay, you're okay, so this is like a wide receiver, like 4 or flex 2 type of situation. Okay, all right, you're in good shape, but to that point, I would still maybe look. You're in good shape for the long haul. Obviously, AJ hasn't been great, and now Wilson is hurt. I would still look into that. I would still look into making a move to trade Kittle for a wide receiver because AJ has been disappointing. London has been good, but is still prone to up and down inconsistencies. And Wilson is now hurt and in a bad quarterback situation. I would still look to move one of those 2 tight ends for some wide receiver help. I would. Because AJ hasn't been what we expect him to be. And that could still turn around because AJ's a stud, but we're now like the panic meter is beyond like a 3 or a 4. We're at like a 5 or a 6. Which still I don't want to say the sky is falling with AJ Brown, but I mean, it's not been good, not anywhere close to expectations for AJ Brown. I would still look into trying to make a move like trade Kittle. You have Warren, trade Kittle for some wide receiver help. And Kendrick Bourne, Kendrick Bourne's on the 49ers now, so that's not a stack either. Yeah, I wouldn't make a move like that's not a stack situation. Last year it would have been, but not this year. No, I wouldn't trade for Kendrick Bourne. If you happen to pick him up, play him. But if he's on somebody else's team, we expect Pearsall back eventually. By the law of averages or whatever, we expect Jawan Jennings to get healthy at some point. Brandon Ayuk could still return. So, like, Kendrick Bourne, it could be like a short-lived thing with Kendrick Bourne. And hell yeah, fly Eagles, fly. Denzel, big Eagles fan, love that. Let's get a dub today. We could really use one. The Eagles have been a little shaky the past couple of weeks. Do I feel better about Mayer with Jacoby Myers ruled out? Yeah, like I guess like from a volume perspective, I still don't love it. Just because Geno, like the Chiefs have a good defense. Geno has not been playing well. I'm not. I don't feel that confidently or that strongly in Mayer just because, I'd rather play. I'm trying to think. Like if Zach Ertz is available, I'd rather play him. Like if Mason, I'd probably rather play Mason Taylor, I guess, because he's at home and it's not a good. It's a good matchup for Mason Taylor. It's not as good of a matchup for Mayer. Like, am I more like sure? Fine, he should be okay. Mayer should be okay, but it's not a good matchup. Geno is not playing well. It's hard to like fully get behind any Raiders today. It's hard to fully get behind them. Volume, sure, but like I don't know how much higher my expectations are. Hold on, I gotta pick up I got to pick up a kicker over here. Got to make my updates to my team as well. I've been sitting on an empty kicker spot all week, waiting for Brock Bowers to be ruled out, so that I didn't have an ineligible lineup, and now it's finally happened. Man, the Rams defense is 3 fourth down stop. That's a big deal. I have a league where I get 2 points per fourth down stop, and I think that the more I think about it, I think that's a good rule. I think that should be implemented in scoring, just in general, because it's like a turnover worthy play. It is literally a turnover on downs, and we get points for fumble recoveries and interceptions. Those are turnovers too. So I have a league where I get 2 points per fourth down stop, and I like that rule quite a bit. Just sometimes we're just talking, sometimes we're just chatting, and I'm giving you guys things to think about. Actually, I'm streaming Kate Otten in a situation, and now I now I don't want to play that as much, so I have to make that update for myself as well. All right, give me 1 second. Boy, the available tight ends are not great. Not ideal. Ugh, all right, I'll figure that out before long. And Greg, you were going to ask the mayor question as well. Not a, I mean, yeah, I mean, from an opportunity perspective, Michael Mayer might see. Is he going to see like in 16, 18% target share today? Maybe even 20% target share, like alongside Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton and who else are they running out there? Jack Besh. I mean, sure, fine. Mayer might see a 20% target share, but the Chiefs have a good defense. Geno is not playing well. It's just like, yeah, in a vacuum, like maybe slight lean to Mayer, but McCaffrey is in a much better situation, a much better matchup, and gets much better quarterback play in the form of Jaden Daniels. I'll take my chance on the wide receiver. I'll take my chance on the wide receiver. Yeah. Okay. Checking to see if there's any more injury updates. Oh, Diami Brown is headed to the medical tent in the Jacksonville game. This game, I'm so happy I stopped watching this game. I don't think I'm missing anything. Am I missing anything? Feel free to let me know. But the score tells me I'm not. The score tells me I'm not missing anything. Tough go for Jordan Whittington. He may not do much else today. The Rams can just run the football. Jacksonville is no threat on offense. This is atrocious. This is atrocious by Jacksonville. From underdog, turnover or punt, missed field goal, and then in the second half they've had 3 drives. They've all been turnover on downs. Or sorry, one of them was in the second half. So I guess they've had 2 drives in the second, or one of them was in the first half. They've had 2 drives this second half, and they've both been turnover on downs. Awful, so bad. I need to get Cade Otton off of my team. I guess in favor of Kyle Pitts. Oh boy. I guess I should have been quicker this week to grab somebody like Mason Taylor, but that's okay. That's all right. I will survive. Yep. Kyle Pitts, come on down. I guess Pitts could have a chance to be okay today just because Fred Warner is out for the 49ers. So it's actually not a terrible situation for him. Okay. I don't see any more questions. We got about an hour until the slate, so I can hang out for a little bit longer. Um, yeah, it's just that time, to check your lineups and make sure everything is all square and all good to go. Rams got a fourth sack. They're killing them. They're absolutely killing them. I'm so happy I turned this game off in the second half. Do I see an edge with JMO or Vidal? I would probably play Vidal. I mean, he's the strong. Vidal is the strong floor play. He's gonna lead the backfield in opportunities if last week was any indication. And Hassan Haskins is on the injury report. He may not play. So Vidal is in a great spot on a good offense, probably as the team's primary running back. I'll take Vidal. He's the floor and the ceiling in all likelihood. JMO's ceiling is a little bit higher, but his range of outcomes is way more random. I think Vidal is the safer and the better play, in all likelihood. I would play Vidal. I would play Vidal. Wait, this is hold on. You but you had a stack with Caleb and Burden. And again, Bourne's not on the Kendrick Bourne's on the 49ers. That's not a stack with Drake May. I mean, it's the trade is fine because Burden is a little bit more buried right now, and Bourne has a right now role. But I wouldn't be surprised if that flip flops later in the season. And you had the stack with Caleb and Burden. I'm not the Bourne's. That's not a stack. Bourne's on the 49ers now. May's that's not a stack with May. And yeah, go with Vidal, Sport Dog. You'll be good. He'll be fine. He's RB2 range of outcomes. Um, yeah, the Patriots are. Yeah, I agree. They're not like set and forget, but they've got a juicy slate of matchups where it's kind of like as long as they keep doing just fine, and I think they should today against Tennessee, then it's just like we'll keep rolling. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll just keep rolling with it. So yeah, I'm good. Like, they got Tennessee today. Cleveland, and then they got Cleveland at home with the rookie quarterback. The Falcons, that's not as strong, but it's a home game. And then Tampa, you would sit them. But the Jets, the Bengals might be fine, even though Flacco has elevated them. And then the Giants. And then, after that, week 14, you can drop them because they're going to have to face in the fantasy playoffs Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So you don't want them then. But I would say for at least the next several weeks, they are viable. Today, next week, the Falcons at home are certainly in play. Maybe not Tampa week 10, but the Jets week 11 and the Giants week 13. Those are some strong matchups, at least right now. Yeah, I mean, rock with them for this week for sure, and then probably next week as well, and then we can go from there. But it's a good schedule for the Patriots defense. Yep. Two in full PPR: Ladd McConkey, Tet McMillan, Kendrick Bourne, or Quentin Johnston. You have two Chargers. They play the Colts at home today. Tet is on the road against the Jets. How's the weather in East Rutherford? That actually, we're starting to get to the point of the year where it's like, okay, it's not necessarily guaranteed to be nice. Let's see. It's 70 degrees. That's nice. It's partly cloudy. That's nice. 10% chance of rain. Not a big deal. 10-mile-per-hour winds. That's not a big deal. All right. So there's no worried about weather in East Rutherford. But we are starting to, remember, week 8, week 9, as we get into November, the cities in the Northeast and the Midwest, we want to keep an eye on the weather, right? That's when it's going to start to change and get cold, maybe get windy. We want to keep that in mind. It's okay for now. It's okay for today. But, start thinking, have these details, these factors in mind in the coming weeks in certain situations. And then Bourne is at home tonight against Atlanta. That's a pretty good spot. I mean, I'm always going to be, in full PPR. McConkey is always going to be enticing. Johnston has cooled off a little bit recently, but this is a good matchup at home for him. And then Tet has the wide receiver 1 target share, but it is against Sauce Gardner. I might play your Chargers. And I know it's not always fun to double dip on the same offense. But it's no weather concerns in LA, right? Playing in SoFi. Show me Quentin Johnston and what I feel like last week was kind of a down week, but this is a really good matchup for him today, though. Yeah, last week was a down week, but it was his first down week. He's otherwise been awesome. I think you have to play Quentin Johnston. And Fortune, I'll just double up on your question really quick, because for me it's Quentin Johnston. Last week was his first bad week. He's been a wide receiver 2 or better the other 5 games. The other 4 games, excuse me. And then what happened? He didn't play last week, right? He didn't play last week. So 2-week stretch where, I don't really count an injury situation against him. And, 1 bad week, but 4 other really strong games. I would just play Quentin Johnston. Back to this question, I would definitely play Quentin, and I think because it's full PPR, I would double up on your Chargers, and I would play Ladd McConkey as well. Again, it's a good situation. It's a good matchup. The Chargers offense, I trust them. Trust Justin Herbert. Ladd's been a little bit better in recent weeks. I would play the Chargers. I do like Tet today. I think he'll be fine. And to be honest, I don't mind Bourne either on Sunday night. But these are some good options to go to. And so I think the Charger situation is my favorite one. Justin Herbert and 2 good players. Tet on the road with Bryce Young. Bryce Young hasn't been very good on the road in his career. And Bourne is just kind of like it's a tier break at this point. I trust Quentin and Ladd more than I trust Bourne from a talent perspective and a situation perspective. Justin Herbert versus Mac Jones. So, yeah, Fortune, like same question. I kind of answered that a little bit longer for both of you guys. Like, give me Quentin Johnston. I know he's been two weeks in a row feels like a long time to not make an impact, but one of those was an injury, and the other 4 games have been excellent. So, give me Quentin. Yeah. And then Sport Dog, you picked up Stevenson. No, I mean, Stevenson is a decent wide receiver. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. His issue is ball security. But what's working in his favor is the Patriots don't seem to care because they keep going back to him. I mean, I'm sure they care, but Stevenson feels like he has a ridiculously long leash as far as his margin for error, because generally teams do not put up with the ball security issues that Stevenson has for as long as the Patriots have. They keep going back to him. The other shoe is gonna drop at some point. I am sure of it, because we've never seen we've never seen teams continue to go back over and over and over again to a player with ball security issues like this. At some point, something's going to have to give. But today, in a great matchup against the Tennessee Titans, Stevenson is viable if you do have him. But I'd probably play Vidal over him. He's viable, depending on your other options. Okay. Flex Pollard, Wandale, Hollywood, Burden, or Monangai. Of this group, probably Wandale. Pollard is I just don't trust the Titans offense right now, and Tajay Spears, now that he's back, is cutting into Pollard's workload. Not Hollywood. Rashee Rice is back, so it's going to be Rice and Worthy and Kelsey. Burden, I like Burden, but not yet. Not with DJ Moore active. He is active, right? He's playing today. Yeah, he is. So not Burden, and Swift is playing, so not Monangai. It's Wandale for me. At least with Wandale, he shouldn't see Patrick Surtain. Surtain is a boundary wide receiver. Wandale works out of the slot. I'll play Wandale. It's not a great matchup, but of these options, I'll take Wandale. All right, let me do one more quick look at injuries. I know folks might be watching the Rams-Jaguars game, so not as many questions today. That's okay. No new injury updates for me, or for that I see here anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Just doing some final checks, some final looks, making sure everything's all squared away. Oh, I'm gonna really quickly let's take a look at the weather in Cleveland. 19-mile-per-hour winds right now. It is raining. Let's see the hour by hour for Cleveland, Ohio. Because this matters. We were talking about this yesterday. What is the hourly weather for Cleveland, Ohio? We were looking at potentially some, like the early report was 50-plus mile per hour winds. Yup, wind gusts of 40 miles per hour right now in Cleveland, Ohio. Drop as the game goes on, but it would still be 20-mile-per-hour winds. Lots of rain. It looks like it's pretty gross in Cleveland right now. The rain looks like it's supposed to again, the rain and wind are supposed to subside for most of this contest. I think the running backs are fine. Quinshon Judkins, Devon Achane should be fine. You probably have to play Jalen Waddle and just hope for the best, even though the situation stinks with the weather. But anybody else that you want to pivot off of, the tight ends, the Cleveland wide receivers, obviously Dylan Gabriel outside of deep super flex leagues, same with Tua. If you want to pivot off of all of the guys that are not the typical mainstays, that's fine. Even Harold Fannin, like his target share, his volume should be fine, but it is a garbage weather day in Cleveland today, so that doesn't mean you have to fire those guys up. The tight ends could be fine, short and intermediate routes, right? Get the ball out quick, try to avoid the wind gusts as best you can. So maybe they're fine, but the weather is going to play a significant factor in Cleveland today. It makes even a guy like Jalen Waddle probably someone you have to leave in your lineup, but certainly it's like it's a little more dicey when it's raining and the wind is blowing with 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's going to suck. That's going to suck. For those players out there. Yeah. I do not love the situation in Cleveland, Ohio today because of the weather. I know. It's already week 7 is insane, man. It always moves in the blink of an eye. That's why I play Dynasty, so I can just never stop playing football. I can keep making trades. I can keep looking at stuff. I can do my rookie analysis. Like that's why I'm like, ah, the season always goes so quickly. So Waller or Ingram. So this is a scenario where again I don't love the pass catchers today in Cleveland because of the weather. It's raining. And we're looking at 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts right now. That's at least what AccuWeather says. I don't know if there's any. If I have anybody who lives in Cleveland, Ohio, or suburban Cleveland and can confirm that the weather is crap right now, that would be amazing. But at least on AccuWeather, it looks like we're looking at, pretty consistent rain and 40-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. That sucks. That sucks for all of the pass catchers. Even Jalen Waddle, who you probably have to leave in your starting lineup, but it doesn't feel great given the weather, given the circumstances. Typically in a vacuum, the answer here would be Waller, and I may still go Waller just because of how blah Evan Ingram has been, but the weather is enough of a factor for me to consider pivoting off of Darren Waller. Vibes are also terrible with the Dolphins right now. I don't really trust Tua. I don't think the vibes are very good. He was in the media, he was in the news once again in the headlines this week for all the wrong reasons, seemingly throwing his teammates under the bus last week in a press conference and then having to walk back those comments. The vibes are horrendous. The weather is crap. Ingram does not inspire a ton of confidence in me, but I do trust Bo Nix more than I trust Tua. And fun fact for Evan Ingram, it's a revenge game today. He's playing his old team that drafted him, the New York Giants. So maybe there's a little extra there that we can kind of lean on for Evan Ingram. He's been pretty bad today or this year, but he has been better in the past 3 weeks. 5 for 42, 4 for 33, and 4 for 29 each of the past 3 weeks at home against his old team. If he can get 4 for 30, but one of those is a score, congrats. That's going to be a low-end tight end 1 on the week. And significantly fewer weather concerns for Ingram than Waller. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I would play Evan Ingram over Darren Waller today. Waller's been better the past 3 weeks, but the vibes with the Dolphins are horrendous, and the weather might be even worse. I'll take Ingram. I'll take Ingram over Waller. And really quickly, I will get to your question in a second, but I got to get to Greg, got to get to my members first. Final question on McCaffrey is fine. That's fine. You could also play Tajay Spears over McCaffrey. I mean, if it's full PPR, probably not, although Spears is the pass-catching back for the Titans. Let me take a look at this. Let's see. Last week, 5 carries, 31 yards, 4 targets, caught all of them for 19 yards. He did play 60% of the snaps. Was that because the team was trailing all week or all game? I guess I expect the Patriots to have a lead in this game, but it is their 3rd straight road game. And it's a pretty gross committee. I'll just play McCaffrey. Oh, and you can play. Okay, well, there's your fun little incentive where you can say I did this. You could play 2 brothers in the same lineup. Maybe just do it. Maybe just do it based on that. Just based on vibes. Let's just play the McCaffrey bros. But truly, actual thoughts and research on this. Spears would be a boring floor play. He did play 60% of the snaps last week, so that's a great sign, like rest of season. But I think McCaffrey, better quarterback, better matchup. That's like one that I think I'm a little bit more willing to roll the dice on. And then Pollard or Charbonnet, to that point, Pollard is losing opportunities to Tajay Spears now that Spears is back healthy. Yes, obviously, Charbonnet, has Kenneth Walker, but Charbonnet's the one who's already siphoning the work. And they keep seemingly going back to him. It's not a great matchup against Houston. It is a home game for Charbonnet, so I guess that's a little bit better. I'll say Charbonnet is fine. And if you kind of like him, like that's a gut feeling. I always tell people, go with your gut. If you have a gut feeling and I tell you, and I give you the alternate option, like the guy that you're not thinking, and you still aren't convinced, don't listen to me. Go with your gut. Always go with your gut. I'm happy to just lay out my thoughts to give you something to think about, to give the people something to think about. But if you still don't agree with what I'm saying, that's fine. Stick with your guy. If Charbonnet is your gut feeling, I don't have a strong conviction about Tony Pollard anyway. So play Charbonnet at home. It's not a great matchup, but he's getting work. The Seahawks offense is better than the Titans offense right now. Yeah, I'll take Charbonnet over Pollard. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. All right. Let me check and see if there's any more injury updates. The Rams got another touchdown. Terrence Ferguson. Oh, God, this game is... This game is awful. This game is awful. Trevor Lawrence, Jesus, man, what the hell? I mean, this is yet another indictment against Trevor Lawrence. The guy is just flat out. Not good. Not good at all. All right. No new injury updates, so I may go ahead and shut this down. But appreciate everybody coming in today, specifically to the members that I saw, Sport Dog, Greg, Fortune. Appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out, and everybody coming in and hanging out today. I will stick around for a couple more minutes if there's any more questions, but if you do miss me on this stream, feel free to leave a question in the form of a comment on this live stream or any other videos and streams on my channel. You can also join my Discord, second link in the description of this live stream, and all videos and streams on the channel. I answer questions over there as well. But I think that'll do it. Enjoy the Week 7 slate. Best of luck. I will be back on Tuesday for Week 8 waivers. I can't believe we're at Week 8, but we are. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here for waiver questions, trade questions, any AMA that you have in the fallout of Week 7. But best of luck this weekend. Again, catch me in Discord or in the form of a comment on my videos if you need anything in the next 45 minutes before the start of the games. Thanks, everybody.